So what I've got in front of me right here are 3 of the top hunting backpacks in the hunting market today. What you guys are watching right now is the first part to a 2-part series where I will be basically going the whole 9 yards with all 3 of these backpacks. Now the first part, which you guys are watching here, it's more of a just overview and just mock tests with them. And then the second part will be me actually taking all 3 of these backpacks on hunts, hopefully packing out meat, and then giving my final conclusion on what I think about each of these 3 individual packs. So before we go any further, I know that this is a long video and some of you are only wanting to watch a specific part of this video, such as maybe you only want to learn about the Exo or the Kifaru. So what I'm going to do is I will overlay the timestamps on the screen right now. That way, if you're only interested in a specific topic, you can just simply skip to that timestamp and then you can go on about your day. So before we go any further, I just want to go over which bag and frame I have from each company. So for the Kifaru, I have the Kifaru 44 mag for the bag, and then for the frame, I have the Kifaru duplex light frame. For the Exo mountain gear, I have the K3 4800 bag with the K3 frame. The Stone Glacier, I have the Stone Glacier Sky 5900 bag with the X-Curve frame. I want to give a quick shout out to Exo mountain gear. They were generous enough to send me the entire system, the bag and the frame, for free at no cost to me for the sake of this review video. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm gonna be biased or I'm just gonna talk good things about Exo mountain gear. I'm still gonna give you guys my 100% honest opinion on all 3 bags. But for the simple act of just being willing to send me this pack for free, I just want to give my personal thank you to Exo mountain gear. So I have the packs lined up from smallest bag size to largest. So as you guys can see here, the Kifaru, it's quite a bit smaller than the Stone Glacier over here. And when I was picking these backpacks, I wasn't trying to find a similar bag size. It was just a matter of trying to find which bag was the most versatile and which bag was the best seller. So when I was doing my research, the Kifaru 44 mag definitely seems to be their best seller, or at least one of their best seller. The Exo mountain gear K3 4800 is by far their best seller. There's no argument there. And then the Stone Glacier Sky 5900, one of their best sellers, if not the best seller. So that's just kind of my thought process when I was choosing the different bags for this project. You know, it was just which bag would the average consumer pick over the other choices that each company has, right? So the 44 mag, the K3 4800, and the Stone Glacier Sky 5900 was what I came up with. So now let's just jump into the specs of each backpack. So we'll start with the Kifaru. The Kifaru, the capacity for the bag size is about 4,400 cubic inches, hence the name 44 mag. So compared to the Exo and the Stone Glacier, it is definitely the smallest in terms of bag capacity. The Exo mountain gear is about 5,200 total cubic inches. The name is 4,800, but there's also this lid up here. So once you add the capacity of the lid, the total capacity of this pack system is right around 5,200. I think it's like 5,205 to be exact. Now for the Stone Glacier, as the name implies, it's 5,900 cubic inches total. So the bag itself is about 5,400 cubic inches. And then the lid is an additional 500 cubic inches. So when you add that together, you have about a 5,900 cubic inch bag system on you. Now let's talk about weight. So the total weight for the Kifaru 44 mag and the duplex light frame is about 6 pounds, 8 ounces. The Exo mountain gear with the bag, lid, and frame is about 5 pounds, 10 ounces. The Stone Glacier with the bag, lid, and frame is 5 pounds, 8 ounces. So right off the bat, you can see the Kifaru, it's the smallest bag, yet it's the heaviest bag. The Stone Glacier, it's the biggest capacity bag and lid, and it weighs the lightest. So if you're an ounce counter, you can already start taking notes here where you might want to go with your route. But the truth is, with how much information we've gone through yet, you can't really rely on that fact alone. I think there are some things that Kifaru has over the Exo and the Stone Glacier that, you know, it might just turn you to go to a Kifaru, or maybe you'll just stay with the Stone Glacier if you're at the ounce counter. Yes, all three of these pack systems are made right here in the USA. So that's the biggest similarity, in my opinion, of what these three bags have in common, is they're all just made in the USA. So I'm going to cover the Kifaru individually first, then we'll go to the Exo, then we'll finish it off with the Stone Glacier. And so with that being said, I'm going to move the Exo and the Stone Glacier off the table for now. That way I have room for demonstration with the Kifaru. So in front of me right here, again, is the Kifaru 44 mag, and we're just gonna cover from the front and then we'll slowly work our way back towards the frame. So in front of the Kifaru 44 mag, you guys can see there's a lot of PALS webbing here. And in my opinion, this is actually a little too excessive. I would definitely like to see less of these, but simply for the fact that this is how they designed it, you know, you can clip a lot of random things onto here, which, you know, it's more features. So depending on how you like to organize your pack, you can. But the biggest thing why they have these PALS webbing here is actually for their accessories. For example, this right here is their large hip belt pouch, and how they connect these to the PALS webbing is just through these tri-slides. So you simply just over here, you hook it through, and then you just fold that tri-slide over, and then you do it to all four, and then ultimately what you're going to end up with is you have a pouch of some sort on the bag, on the front of your bag here. So it's just quick access to whatever you want to store in here. So that's the biggest reason why they have all this stuff right here. Ultimately, since they have it like this, it just allows for a lot of customization. The other thing is they have handles. So they have a handle down here, they have a handle up here, and they also have a handle over here. So if you have you know, your trunk of your truck full and you only have a little gap to throw your bag in, instead of having to put your bag upright like this into the truck, you can get these handles and slide it in. So it's a nice feature there. I really do believe that these handles here will come in useful sometimes. And also on this part right here, you can actually slide the cam of your bow into here, and it will hold the cam of your bow, and then you'll just take these straps and cover your bow. So there's a multi-purpose use for these handles right here. The next thing I want to talk about are these straps right here. So over here, you can see the buckle is over here. So you can buckle or unbuckle these three straps. And once you do that, then you go into this side pocket right here. So you can see there's a full length spawning scope pocket, as I would call it. And if you go in here, I have some of my clothes to show you guys for demonstration purposes, but you can stick a spawning scope in here, or in some cases a tripod, or anything vertical that you don't want in the main compartment of your bag, you can store here. And this is the same exact thing on this side. So I just flipped it around. The bag is pretty symmetrical. So this side, you can see it also has just the same exact pocket, and you can store whatever else you want in here too. Again, I just have some of my hung clothes in here to demonstrate you guys the capacity of this bag system. So that's the first thing about the Kifaru 44 mag is you have two identical zippered pouches on each side of the bag. So you could put a spawning scope on this side and then put a tripod on this side. It really just depends on what you want to put in there. So that's the first pocket that we're going to dig into. Right up here, you can see there's this front zipper right here. And this right here is the smallest pocket. It's just a slim, you know, not a lot of room type of thing. But in here, there's actually two clips right here. Clip your car keys or some type of keychain, or honestly whatever. It's just to have more security, and then you can slide whatever else in here, maybe your wallet or just small items like that. So that little zipper pocket is up here, and then just right below that there's actually a second pocket, and it's a slightly bigger pocket. And you can see in here I've just got my Kuiu puffy jacket. It's quite a bit bigger. This will fit 18 powered binoculars, no problem. So this is where you will store your slightly bigger items, because this front zipper pocket up here is for your small items. And then this one down here is just a little bit more organization. For example, like this, I just stuffed my Kuiu puffy jacket in there, and you can see it stuffs in there and it still has quite a bit of room to spare. So a pretty decent pocket in terms of capacity there. And then the third zipper is what goes into the main bag itself. So what Kifaru calls this is a clamshell zipper design. So once you unzip this main compartment zipper, then your bag literally fully folds open just like that. And right now I just got my sleeping bag and stuff in there, but I'm gonna pull it out for a second here. This zipper goes all the way down to like maybe the third bottom of the bag. So once you do that, you can see just fully open, great access into the main compartment of the bag. On this panel right here, so again, this is the little lid I was just covering. On the underside of that, there's actually this little zippered mesh pocket right here. It's not all that big, but beneath this, you just have this non-zipper, just kind of open compartment here. Again, it's just kind of a mesh material right here. So again, more organization for whatever you want to put in your bag. And then once we get into the actual compartment of the bag, there's not a lot in here. There's actually this little zippered compartment up here, and this comes with a 44 mag. I did not buy this. This comes standard with the 44 mags, and it's just connected through this little tri-slide up here. You can take it off if you want, but you can see it's just a little zippered pocket up here. So you can put whatever you want to put in here. But if you flip this over, there's more PALS webbing over here. And you can, again, slap a belt pouch or some Kifaru accessory onto there if you wanted to. But below the PALS webbing, there's a water bladder sleeve right here. So you would put your water bladder down here, and then you would just connect it with this little piece of strap right here. And then you can cinch it or just have it loose depending on how you like it. On both the sides of these flap right here, there's some material right here where you can slide your hose through, and then it'll just come out to the backside when you're wearing your backpack, and then you can drink. So that is pretty much the main compartment of the Kifaru 44 mag. So all we have to do now is just got to zip it back up. So I do want to show you guys something here too that I've learned to really appreciate. So let me zip this up fully first. These are the two zippers for the main compartment zipper. So if I zip this, then I go back into that main compartment. But one thing I've appreciated that Kifaru has done is they actually have 4 zippers on the main compartment. So the 2 zippers that I mainly use are right up here under the lid, but they also have 2 zippers down here. So with Kifaru having 4 zippers, if I have something at the bottom of the bag, I can just unzip this bottom zipper right here and just dig in to the bottom of the bag versus having to go all the way up here, unzipping this, letting all my stuff on top fall out and dig inside of here. So you can either access it from the top way up here, or you can access it utilizing this bottom zipper right here, depending on how you want to do it. And it's the same exact thing on this side. So the other zipper is up here. If I want to access something right here, I'll just undo that zipper and I'm right to the bottom of the bag. Of course, you have some straps down here and buckles so that you can cinch this bag down when you're not using the bag expanded. But you can also expand these straps right here so that you can fully utilize the capacity of the bag. So I'm not going to go into too much detail about frame design and adjustability and the modularity of the frame. Kifaru has a bunch of video explaining that. I'm just going to go through how I access the load shelf. So basically, how would I put meat in between my bag and my frame? I'm going to come to the side and undo the 3 straps on each side. So I'm going to undo this one, the bottom one, the middle one, the top one. Flip it around, do it to this side as well, middle, top, bottom. So we're going to unflip it to this side, and up here you have your load lifters. What we're going to do is we're going to not disconnect the buckle, but we're actually going to take off both buckles, because on this top buckle, if you look there, you can see there's a little gap right here that you can just slide in and out of webbing loops such as this. So when you're accessing your load shelf, make sure that you don't just simply unbuckle it. Make sure that you slide both buckles out, because we're no longer going to be using this webbing loop right here. We're going to be attaching this directly to the frame, which I'll show you guys momentarily. So again, over here, we're going to do it to this load lifter over here as well. Again, don't just unbuckle it like this. Make sure that you take off both buckles because we are no longer utilizing this webbing loop right here. So the other thing is, if you come down to the hip belt right here, you can see that there's a strap that connects the hip belt to the bag. So all we're going to do right here is we're simply going to just slide this webbing loop through like that. So now this hip belt is disconnected from the bag. It's the same exact process on the other hip belt. So we're going to flip this bag around. So we're going to flip it around, and you guys can see here it's on this side as well. So we're just going to unthread this, and again, this side of the hip belt is now disconnected from the bag. So the last thing that we need to do is we need to go and dig a little in between the bag and the frame. So this right here is the hip belt. If you go in between the bag and the frame, you can see that there's this little strap. All you have to do is just loosen that up. So that's one side. We're going to turn the bag around and do it to the other side as well. Turn this around, dig in between, and again, you guys can see it's right there. So we're just going to simply pop that strap loose. Once you do that, then your bag or your frame simply just slides out underneath this material up here. And on the Kifaru, there's actually this little flap right here that is sewn onto the back of your bag. So this flap right here is not sewn onto the frame, it's onto the bag. And this is actually what Kifaru calls their load shelf. And if you look on the bottom down here, there's a little tri-slider right here. And this is what we're going to connect to the frame. So if you come to the bottom of the frame, there are two little plastic pieces right here. And there's one on this side and there's one on this side. All we have to do is take this tri-slide, loop it through this piece of plastic right here, and take this one and do the same exact thing to this one over here. Just loop this through, just kind of like that. And once you have it looped through, all you have to do is pull it all the way through and just flip this over. And once you have it flipped over, then like it's locked together. And again, you're just gonna have to do this to this side as well. So we're gonna take this, slide this through. It can be a little bit of pain, but once you slide it through, flip it over. And now this load shelf is not coming off of that frame. So once you have that, then you're ready to simply just sandwich meat in between. So I don't have a legitimate meat bag with me, so I just have one of my Exo 1800s. So just imagine that this is full of meat right here. So all we're gonna do is we're just gonna lay this meat bag on top of the frame like this. I guess it's not really an issue, but my dislike of the Kifaru is that you can't just cinch or secure the meat to the frame itself and then simply sandwich the secured meat with a bag. So what that means is once you lay the meat onto here, you'll flip it over with your bag, such as so. And then from here, you have to kind of be careful so that your meat doesn't slide around. And you're just gonna go back to simply securing these three straps from the side to the bag. So again, this is connected to the frame. We're gonna come here, connect it to the bag. We're gonna do this for all 6 straps, 3 on each side. So we're gonna come here, do that one. We're gonna come here to the bottom one and secure it to that one as well. We're gonna come over here and do it that one, to the bottom one, which is right here. And once you have that, then it's a matter of just cinching and securing the meat to the frame. The meat is essentially sandwiched in between your bag and your frame, which is good because now it's basically secured. The last thing we have to do is come back to our hip belt and our shoulder straps, but I'll show the shoulder straps first. So earlier on the load lifter straps, I told you guys to completely take off 2 buckles, right? Because on this top buckle, again, there's that little gap. So when we don't utilize our load shelf, this buckle right here is connected to one of these webbing loops down here. But since we have our load shelf in use right now, we're now going to take our shoulder strap and we're going to connect it to this webbing loop right here. So as you guys can see, this is the frame itself. And now we're gonna take this buckle and we're just gonna slide this right through to our load lifter straps. And now that's our load lifter, or our new load lifter spot on our frame. We're just gonna do this to the other side right here as well. Last thing is we're gonna go down to our hip belt. As you guys can see here, there's the original one on the bag that's sewn onto the bag, but there's also this black one that's sewn onto the frame. So now we're gonna take the strap and we're gonna web it through this black one right here. So it's just a simple webbing loop. So you're gonna loop it through there, then you're gonna come back and just gonna pull it out and just cinch it. And then that's just more stability for your hip belt to your frame. Come back to this side on the other belt. Again, here's the original one that connects to the bag. Here's the new one that we're gonna go to. I love how they color code it. So loop there. It's kind of hard doing this, trying to keep you guys in frame, but just simply cinch it. And now you have your hip belt secured to your frame. So from a side perspective, you guys can see here's your 44 mag bag. Here's my simulated meat bag sandwiched in between. And then over here you have your frame. So we've got our load lifters reconnected. We've got our hip belt reconnected. And then we got these 3 straps on each side, just sandwiching the bag to the frame, in which the meat bag is just stuck in between there. And then again, you guys look down here, this little piece right here, this is that meat shelf that I was demonstrating for you guys earlier. Once you get back to the truck, you're ready to unload meat, just simply come back here, undo the 6 side straps. You undo the 6 side straps, this bag folds apart. Take your meat bag, toss it in the cooler. And then from there, if you want to get your bag reattached to your frame, it's simply a reverse in the process, right? Since we don't want to use our load shelf anymore, we're just gonna disconnect our load shelf from our frame down here. Fold that flap right there. And then it's a matter of retaking off our load lifters from this webbing loop on the frame. Once you have that, then we're gonna come down here to our hip belt. We're gonna undo this piece down here. And then from here, it's just a matter of sliding your frame up under this little sleeve up here. Slide it under. And then that little piece of webbing underneath here that I told you guys you have to kind of dig in between the bag and the frame. All you have to do is just cinch them snug again. We're gonna do it to this side as well. Cinch this tight. We're gonna come back to our load lifters right here. We're just gonna come back and we're just gonna simply web this shoulder strap or load lifter strap to this little webbing here. So now it's attached to that little military material right here. I'm gonna do the same exact thing to this side. You have your load lifter connected. We're gonna come down to our hip belt here. So again, when you're utilizing your load shelf, you attach it to this black buckle. But since we're just attaching our bag to our hip belt, we're gonna come down to this tan one, just web this webbing loop in and out, cinch it tight, flip it around, do the same thing, web this in, and then web it out, cinch. And then from there, you're pretty much done. Now it's back to the 3 side straps on each side. We're gonna do the bottom one, we're gonna do the middle one, then we're gonna do our top one, flip it around, do it to this side, top one, middle one, and then down to our bottom one. And then that right there, folks, your Kifaru 44 mag is back to hunt mode and it's ready to go kill another bull or something. I didn't even cover how you would adjust like your shoulder straps or your hip belt or your lumbar pad or how you fit it, but I figured that's not really my place. Kifaru, they have a bunch of videos on their own YouTube channel that they go over that stuff. And I figured they're the proper teacher to teach you guys how to do that stuff, you know, so I'll leave that stuff to Kifaru. So if you have questions on that, just go peep the Kifaru YouTube channel. But again, there's a lot of things that I didn't even cover, you know, like on the 44 mag, there's so much little webbing loops up here where you can take your shoulder strap or take your load lifters and do it at different angles and whatnot. Or you have a bunch of these little webbing loops right here where you can take this buckle and connect it up here instead. You know, there's so much things with the Kifaru system that I didn't go over, but I figured what I went through is a pretty good idea of what it offers and what it doesn't offer for you guys. And so with that being said, let's move on to the Exo mountain gear. Here's the Exo mountain gear. I'm very happy to say that this pack system is a lot more simple than the Kifaru. The Kifaru, in my opinion, is probably the more complicated one. And so when you go from a Kifaru pack to an Exo mountain gear, it's a sigh of relief because you know that there's just not that much things you have to do with this. So anyway, this is the K3 4800 bag with the K3 frame. And so if you've never seen an Exo mountain gear, this is pretty much it right here. So they have a lid, which they call a floating lid. So you can actually just unbuckle it and you would have this little lid. So this lid right here, it's basically just one big compartment. I just have some water bottles in there to show you guys kind of the capacity. But above that, there's also a little tiny lid right here in which you can store your car keys, your wallet. I like how there's a big main lid and a little lid because it just allows for that much more organization, you know, because sometimes when you have like small items like your car keys, if you just have one big compartment, sometimes you're like fumbling through your lid just trying to find those small items. So I really do like this lid design by Exo. So anyway, this thing connects just by a buckle right here, a buckle right here, and just two buckles at the front. Just four buckles that you can unbuckle to take the lid off, or just four buckles to attach to put the lid back on. So now let's get into the meat of the bag system. So I'm gonna pull off the lid just so that you guys can see the actual bag a little bit easier. So again, just four buckles to detach the lid. I'm gonna put that right here. You can see this is the front of the bag. So there's a horseshoe zipper that goes into the main body of the bag, and there's also this little front zipper right here, and it's just a little tall vertical pouch. And this material right here is a stretchy material, so if I put something in here, you can see it can bulge out. And the next thing is this full horseshoe zipper. If you fully fold it open, you have great access into the compartment, the main compartment of your bag. So just kind of like the 44 mag, you know, you have great access into the main body of the bag. But alongside with this flap right here, if you flip it open, there's actually a little mesh zipper pocket right here. And this right here could store, you know, smaller items like licenses. This is where I store my licenses and whatnot, because you always know where it is. And so that's on the flap. Now let me pull out the sleeping bags and whatnot to show you guys what's inside the bag. So when you go into the main body of the bag, there are these two little tab loops right here, and you can actually attach their K3 stash pockets. And these are just like tendonier steel nylon material. And there's one tab loop on this side, and there's another one over here. So you can have two. So you can have one here and then one here, but as of right now, I only have one on this side, but it's just for more organization. Other than that, there's really not anything to it in the main compartment of the bag. It's just really just one big compartment. You can actually also access the main bag through the roll top design. So with Exo, they have a roll top design. So it expands like this, and you can dig your arm into the main compartment of the bag. So if you have this fully expanded like this, and you have something near the top, you don't have to go through the horseshoe zipper and try to dig up. You can just simply undo this roll top and just grab whatever on top. Vice versa, if you have something way down at the bottom of the bag and you need to access it, you don't have to go through the roll top and try to dig your way down. You can simply just undo this zipper, grab whatever down here you need, and then just zip it back up. So you can access the bag from pretty much all the angles, from up top, from the side, from the bottom, you name it. with how Exo has designed this, you can access it almost any direction you want. Same with the Kifaru earlier when I explained it, you can access it however you want. So again, with the Exo, it's a roll top design. So if you don't need this excess material up here, all you do is you just roll it up and you just buckle it, and it keeps it nice and compact like that. Now the sides on the Exo are symmetrical, so it's the same exact thing on this side, same exact thing on this side. So on the side there are 2 straps, so you just unbuckle the top one, unbuckle the bottom one. If you come up here, you undo this, you have a long tubular pocket. Now this is different from the main compartment. This sits outside of the main compartment, and this right here, you can put your spotting scope, your tripod, your trekking poles, anything long and vertical you can put in here. And then if you go down here, you have a stretchy pocket, and this is where you can store your Nalgene bottle, headlamp, whatever, quick access. Now right here, it's just an elastic that keeps the top, I guess, not always wide open, and so you don't have to worry about unzipping or zipping something. It's just a simple reach in, reach out type of deal. And again, it's the same exact thing on this side, long tubular pocket up here, and you have a side stretchy pocket down here. Again, 2 buckles on each side. So the last thing when it comes to bag design on the Exo is if you go just right on the back side of this roll top, you can see there's a zipper right here. If you unzip this, this is actually a dedicated water bladder sleeve. And so this sits in between your frame and I guess the main compartment of your bag. There's actually a, like, I don't know, some type of thicker sil nylon material, and you can put your water bladder in here, or like wet rain gear or wet tent, and essentially it's gonna keep all your dry stuff in the main compartment of your bag dry from your wet stuff that you put in this compartment. So it's literally like a dry bag, but instead of it being a dry bag, it will be like a wet bag, you know? So it's an awesome design because you can access this pocket right here without even having to go through and fumbling around with whatever you have in the main bag itself. And so if you just need to take out your water bladder and refill your water bladder, all you have to do is just go through this part right here, just unzip it. And this little Velcro piece right here is what your bladder is going to hang off of. Just undo this Velcro, pull out your water bladder sleeve, fill up your water bladder, put it back in, and you're ready to go. And you don't even have to mess around with whatever is in the big bag itself. So that is basically the K3 4800 bag in a nutshell. Very streamlined, very minimal, just straight functional, no bells and whistles to it. It's just a very functional bag, and that's something I really appreciate about the K3 4800. And then just to go over some little features about the Exo, you have 2 straps on this side, 2 straps on the front, and then 2 straps on this side. It's a pretty symmetrical bag. And then down here you have 2 little tab loops. I believe these are for trekking poles, so you can put your trekking pole here and your leg will lock like this down here so that your trekking pole can't go anywhere. And then obviously you have more straps down here to cinch the bag small if you don't need all that room. But as you guys can see here, I have the bag expanded, so these straps are not as tight. And then on the hip belt right here, this is a 2-inch Velcro webbing. I have one of their hip belt accessories, and I just have it attached to one side. So just like the Kifaru, I'm gonna walk you guys through how to access the load shelf with the Exo mountain gear. This is the simplest load shelf access I have ever found on any backpack so far. So with the Exo mountain gear, we're gonna undo the 2 side straps on each side. So there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4. The other side, and right here, these are the load lifters. And usually with the standard load lifter, you would have to undo this right here. But with Exo, they've actually come to design this little Velcro. So underneath or above this handle right here, you're gonna undo this Velcro. So you're gonna undo this. So that's 1 piece of Velcro, 2 pieces of Velcro, and then 3rd piece of Velcro. And then we're gonna come to our lid right here. We're gonna undo these 2 buckles. And then on the lower straps of the Exo, there's actually this little webbing loop that keeps the buckle from, I guess, just sliding off. So you guys can see right here, there's this little strap loop that the buckle goes through. We're just gonna simply push it through. And once you do that, then voila, you got the bag separated from the frame. So simple. I love that about the Exo. It's probably my favorite thing about the Exo over the Kifaru and the Stone Glacier. Granted, yes, the Kifaru and the Stone Glacier are pretty simple too, but this takes the cake when it comes to simplicity. So on the frame of the Exo, you have these two straps right here, and you're gonna simply unbuckle those. And these come actually with Velcro. So all you're gonna do is just undo the Velcro, and you're just gonna extend these straps as long as you can. So once you undo these 4 straps right here, you're ready to put meat onto there. So again, we're gonna use our amazing Exo mountain gear 1800 here as demonstrations. And Exo mountain gear, they actually make an accessory called the crib load panel, where it's a panel where it kind of just wraps your meat, but I don't have it right here. I have it on my K2 system, but I figured I'd show you guys kind of just what the stock setup is between the Kifaru, the Exo, and the Stone Glacier. And that crib load panel, it comes in handy too, but I don't think it's really necessary. So let's imagine this is, again, our meat. We're just gonna set it right here. So we're gonna basically form an X between these straps right here. So we're gonna do that, and we're gonna take our bottom right strap, connect it to our top left strap. And once you have it cinched like that, then the meat is kind of sandwiched in between this little wedge right here. And so when you have the meat vertical, the meat can't sag any more vertical or any more down. So once you have the meat sandwiched onto there, it's a matter of just coming back to your bag and putting it on top. And then from there, it's just a matter of reattaching the regular side straps. All right, that's it. You just cinch this stuff tight. You're gonna bring your lid back over, and then you're gonna extend your lid strap right here. And then that is pretty much ready to pack out. So you got your meat in between, you got all your gear in your main bag, you got your lid helping converge the top of your bag to your frame. That way your bag doesn't flop out like this. And that is pretty much it right there. And then again, because of this Velcro design, we never even had to touch our load lifters. So they're still intact there. And from there, you are ready to go. Now, Exo mountain gear makes an accessory. I forgot what it's called. I think it's like the 1800 load lifter straps or something. I'm not exactly sure what the name is, but I have it here with me. I'm gonna demonstrate it. So it's basically just 2 straps right here. And these are for if you're not running a lid, right? So for example, if I'm not running a lid, let me just take off this lid. If you don't have a lid that holds this stuff together like this, your bag can kind of flop out like this. So I'm gonna bring you guys closer so that you guys can have a better detailed look of what I'm doing here. So what you guys are looking at right now is you guys are looking at the frame. So here's my shoulder strap, here's your load lifters. Above your load lifters, there's a little loop right here. So we're just gonna take this right here. You can see there's one open end. We're just gonna take the open end and loop it through just like that. Once we have this looped onto that loop, we're gonna bring it over, and on the 4800 and pretty much all the K3 bags, you can see right here, there's also a little loop, same identical loop. It's just that this one is sewn onto the bag itself versus tied onto the frame. So we're just gonna take the strap, bring it over, and again, there's an open-ended side, and we're just gonna loop it through just like that. So we just looped it through, and then all you have to do here is just cinch this. And once you cinch that, it's gonna come as a pair. You're gonna do the same exact thing to the other side. So it's gonna come as a pair. So we just cinch this side. We're gonna take the other one, again, open-ended end. loop it through this one on the frame. Then we're just gonna bring this over the meat. And then again, you guys can see right here, there's another little sewn in loop right there. Just gonna slide the open-ended through that. If I can find it here. And then from there, it's just a matter of you gotta cinch it. So now that you have these two straps holding the top of your bag to your frame, it prevents your bag from sagging this way. And for example, if you have like the skull of an elk, you can put your elk skull right here, and then you can just wrap this around the antlers of your elk, and then your elk antlers won't fall one side or the other. So it's a pretty well thought out process. Again, this strap is only required if you're not running a lid. If you're running a lid, then this basically is not needed, but that is just another option for you. Like if you're really just going on a day hunt, or you only have the 4800 and you're like, I don't need the extra capacity of a lid, you can just buy these straps instead, so that when you're hauling out meat, you can still secure like the head of your elk or the head of your deer or whatever onto here and still be good to go. So I just took off those demonstration straps. I put the lid back on because I'm assuming the majority of you guys, if you guys have the 4800, you're going to be packing out with the lid instead of those straps. I was just showing that for demonstration purposes. So let's say you got back to your truck. Now it's time to unload the meat and time to put your bag back into hunting mode. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to completely remove my lid. So again, the lid is just 4 buckles. Pull the lid right off. Put the bag flat on its frame. And we're just going to undo 2 straps on the side and 2 straps on this side. So undo 2 straps right there. Undo 2 straps right there. You're ready to go. We secured our meat utilizing these load shelf straps provided by Exos, right? So all we have to do is undo this. Once you undo that wedge, pull your meat bag right off. And then from here, all you have to do is just reattach your straps on the frame together. So the straps I'm connecting here are the ones that are strictly for sandwiching or wedging that meat onto the frame. So with Exo, they provide these strap holders or strap keepers. So all you have to do is just roll it up, and then just simply Velcro it. And so it's nice and tidy right there. And you're just gonna do the same thing. Just roll this one up. And once you have it there, just do the Velcro. And then from there, all you have to do is reattach the bag to the frame. So we're gonna come back up here, undo this Velcro, fold that out of the way, fold these out of the way, just come here. When you're doing this, you don't have to undo the load lifter straps, but just because it will be easier for you guys to see, I'm just gonna undo the load lifters. Again, you don't have to undo this load lifter. You can just simply tuck the Velcro in and you can do it, but I'm just gonna do it for demonstration purposes so that you guys can see better. So now for this, all you have to do is pull your Velcro strap, just Velcro it in right there. Now over here, I left my load lifter strap so that you guys can see the difference. All you have to do is just tuck this Velcro strap in between or under your load lifter, and then just line it up across the Velcro. And then you're going to take this top Velcro up here and just tuck it under that load lifter and just massage that Velcro together. And again, because I undid this load lifter for demonstration purposes, I'm just going to simply web this load lifter back through this. And now the next step is just attaching your 2 side straps on each side. So earlier, if you guys recall, there's this little webbing loop right here. So for your bottom strap, we're just gonna web it through that one. We're gonna extend this, and then we're just gonna simply buckle it right here. Cinch that, come over here, do the top one. We're gonna flip it around. Again, on the bottom strap, you guys can see there's this little webbing loop that buckled through. Pull it out. Now, one thing I didn't cover, or I forgot to cover, is on this side stretchy pouch, you can run this strap over this stretchy pouch. So if you run it over, if you have something in here, it has a really hard time falling out because you're blocking it with this. But for example, if you have a Nalgene bottle right here and you're wearing your pack, if you want quick and easy access to something right here without a lot of restriction accessing it, you can actually run this strap under this stretchy material. So all you have to do is, instead of just putting it on top of the stretchy material right here, you just simply run it under. And Exo, they actually cut a little hole right here so that your strap can actually just come through right there, and then you simply just buckle it. If you run it like that, you guys can see there's nothing blocking the top of this stretchy material, so I can always just grab whatever in there. Reattach your lid. With the lid, it's just 4 simple buckles. So do this buckle right here. On their lumbar pad is actually very adjustable. So if you reach underneath, in between the frame, there's a little Velcro strip right here. All you have to do is undo that Velcro strip, and then you're just gonna pull this lumbar pad open. If you pull it open, underneath this lumbar pad, there's a lot of material in there, but just pieces of foam that add for support. Now, the Exo actually comes with one of them. So if you have it like this is standard. I actually had to buy another one because the lumbar pad, in my opinion, is a little too soft. So I bought a second one in case, because we're going to be putting these packs on a heavy load portion here momentarily. You can adjust how thick or how thin you want your lumbar pad on the Exo mountain gear. So for me, I have 2, so I slid another one in here just to give me a little bit more lumbar support. But if you don't want to, you don't have to. It's just, again, more adjustability on the Exo. So all you have to do is just simply reattach that Velcro there. So with the lumbar pad, that's basically it. You're just going to simply massage that Velcro back in, tuck this Velcro back underneath, and you're basically ready to go. So this little sleeve right here, this is where the frame actually goes under, but I just popped it out to show you guys. So if you look at it, there's actually this little insert at the bottom of your frame, and you can see there's a little wedge right here, and you can flip this way or this way depending on how tall or short you want your frame. So you would simply slide it in like this. That is how I typically run my frame when I'm just day hunting. But if I'm hauling out heavy loads and I want a little bit more stability, I will simply pull it out. I will flip it around and put the short end in and have the long part elongated. This adds a little bit more height to my frame. So for example, if you guys look here, this right here is me running it on tall. This is me running it on short. I can obviously flip this one around and have them both equal. Obviously you don't want to have one tall and one short, but I'm just showing you guys the difference here. So that's just something quick that I wanted to show you guys that I thought it was pretty neat coming from Exo. Last but not least, we've had the Stone Glacier Sky 5900. The lid, unlike the Exo, it's just one zipper to access it, and the lid is actually a pretty big lid, I would say. I think it's a little bit bigger than the Exo. There's nothing really special there. It's just a floating lid, and then you just got a zipper across the front. And what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna detach the buckle that attaches the lid to the frame or the bag, and then on the back over here, unlike the Exo where it's just 4 clips, over here it's actually just a strap. So you have to come through here and undo the straps. So with the lid on the Stone Glacier, you have 2 buckles in the front, and on the back it's just a simple strap that you have to unthread basically. So we're just gonna put the lid aside for now. So just quick overview, we've got 2 front buckles right here, we've got 2 side buckles on this side, 2 side buckles on this side. That's pretty much all the buckles on the bag. Other than that, then we have, you know, just some simple straps on, like down here and right here and up here. I guess I lied, there is a buckle up here that cinches the top of the bag together. If we undo this right here, you guys can see it's a very similar design to the Exo. So you've got basically a beaver tail. That's what I think Stone Glacier calls it. They call this a beaver tail, where if you unzip that U zipper, you get full access to the main compartment of your bag. And so I think the general idea that you guys are getting here is all three of these bags, they have great access to the main body of the bag. Kind of like the Exo on this front right here, you have an exterior pocket, but with the Exo, it's a stretchy type of material. With Stone Glacier, it's just Cordura. So if you unzip this, pull that out, you have this pocket right here, and inside of here, they have some webbing attachments where they can attach their swing out pockets. This is what Stone Glacier calls their swing out pockets. So there's one attachment on this side, and then there's one attachment on this side. So you can run two, just like how I'm running right now. Other than that, then you can just store pretty much whatever you want, you know, rain gear, spotting scope, anything you want quick access in this front beaver tail pocket, you can. Unlike Exo runs a roll top on top, but Stone Glacier, they just simply run a cinch. So if you just uncinch this, then it just simply opens up the bag. But Stone Glacier, I think one of the reasons why they run this instead of a roll top is because of a pretty slick design, which I'll get to here momentarily. So when this bag is fully expanded like this is what Stone Glacier calls their sky mode, right? So when the bag is fully extended and you have the lid on top, this is what they call their sky mode. There's also these two straps right here to help balance the bag. So because when you have the bag fully loaded, if you don't have these two straps right here folding it back to the frame, it can have a natural tendency to fall backwards. And when it does that, it naturally just pulls you backwards, which is not very comfortable. And then on the side over here, if you look on the bottom over here, they do have two exterior like side pouches. Now Stone Glacier, they just run straight Cordura, and there's actually a little strap right here that you can cinch or uncinch depending if you want to secure something down in here. But it's identical on both sides. That is pretty much the exterior bag itself. I'm gonna pull the stuffing out and I'll show you guys kind of what's on the inside. So I just emptied out the backpack. Again, this is that little beaver tail that they refer to. There's nothing on the back side of this beaver tail besides this sil nylon. I think it's like a 70D sil nylon, if I'm not mistaken. It might be a little bit different, but it's some type of sil nylon material. So there's no pouches on this side at all. It's just you have the front pouch and then you just go into the main compartment of the bag. Now, this is probably one of my favorite things about Stone Glacier is this X-Pack material. So this black stuff right here, this is called X-Pack, and it's fully waterproof. And I just love the hybrid look of the Stone Glacier pack, right? Like you got X-Pack material and then you got Cordura, you know? So I'm a big fan of this X-Pack material right here on Stone Glacier. So they have it on the back panel of their backpack. So this leans up against their X-Curve frame. Right here, what I actually have is I have one of their accessories, and this is called a camp pocket. And they come in a sil nylon camp pocket, and they also come in a Cordura camp pocket. So what I have here is the Cordura camp pocket. The sil nylon camp pocket is the same material as their swing out pockets. It's just that I went with the Cordura because I think the Cordura holds its shape a little bit better than the sil nylon because the sil nylon is kind of flimsy. But anyway, so on Stone Glacier, how they have it attached is if you come and look up here, if you look right here, you can see there's this little, basically just a tri-slide. So on the camp pocket, you guys can see here, it's just a little webbing right here. So all you have to do is just simply web this through, just like that. And then all you're gonna do is come back and web it in the other way right here. Once you do that, then the camp pocket or your accessory is basically secured. Now we just have to go to this side and just basically do the same thing, right? Just web it through. And once you have a web through like that, now the camp pocket, it's stuck onto there. And the cool thing is on the camp pocket, there's actually those tri-slides right here too. So you can literally have a chain of camp pockets. So you can have one here and then have one down here just connected through the tri-slide again. So that's a super slick design. I think let me show you guys what I'm talking about right here. So again, with these swing out pockets, it's connected the same exact way, right? You just simply web this through in and out, it pops out. And if I wanted to, I'll just come here to one of the tri-slides under this camp pocket and I'll just web this through, in and out, And now I have this swing out pocket attached to this Cordura camp pocket. And I can do this with another one over here too, but I'm not gonna do it, but I'm just showing you guys the versatility of how Stone Glacier has designed their accessories, which I am a very big fan of, you know, having that kind of option. So other than those two little tri-slides right there where you can put your accessories, the main compartment of the Stone Glacier is once again just a big compartment, just like the Exo and just like the Kifaru. So they share that similarity there, where you have a few different points where you can attach your accessories, but for the most part the main bag is just one big bag. We're gonna fold this over and I'm gonna show you guys how you would run the Stone Glacier if you're running it for like a day mode, or what they would consider a bivy mode, which I think is so freaking slick. I love this design by Stone Glacier. So when you have this entire bag expanded to the top, you're going to be utilizing this little clip right here, but since we're going to be running in day mode, basically the smaller version, we're not going to use it. So what we're going to do is we're basically going to just kind of fold it in half like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck in the sides, tuck in the top, and you can see this little flap is like, it's designed to just fold over like this. And this is where it gets awesome. All right, so again, this strap right here was here because I was running in sky mode. Take the strap off because we're not going to be utilizing this one, so simply just web through, in and out, pops off. Right, we're going to do the same thing to this side, same exact process, just simply web it through, in and out. So now these two are no longer going to be used. We're going to be using these two right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to run this strap that we just unwebbed through this one, and it's just a simple web through, pull it up, and then web through this other one through the teeth basically, and then you're just gonna cinch it. Okay, and we're gonna do the same exact thing on this side. So it's just a simple loop in, and then loop out. So this clip right here was the one I was using to attach this one earlier, but since we're not using it in sky mode, there's actually a clip right here, right underneath or right above the handle, which now this is where you connect it to. And when you connect it to there, just cinch this down, cinch these two side straps down. This is what they call bivy mode, right? This is one of the slickest designs I have seen. So with all that excess material, when you're running sky mode, it's just all like folded down, and then you have this very clean top right here. With the Exo, since they're running a roll top, you always have that band of roll top material just kind of like sticking out like this. And there's nothing wrong with it, but this right here is just like, wow. Like, I love this design by Stone Glacier. It's almost like a perfect shelf where you can just slap your lid on top if you want to run a lid. So super slick design by Stone Glacier. I absolutely love that. That's pretty much it. Now I want to show you guys how to access the load shelf. All right, so I have the bag back into sky mode again, fully extended. But one thing I forgot to show you guys is when you have it in sky mode like this, you guys can see this lid has a really long strap. One thing that you can do is you can actually unbuckle this, obviously, but you have this little buckle down here that you can move up to this little webbing loop up here. So this, you guys can see this little black thing. So this buckle right here, it's actually you can actually disconnect it. So all you have to do is just pop it open. You just gotta slide it out of the webbing loop. And once I slide it out of the webbing loop, all I have to do is come up here and just slide it in. So this is the clip they use. All you have to do is just clip it back in, and then it'll lock. But if you don't want to lock it, just simply push it out, and then now you can slide it through. Is just slide this thing in like this, and then once you guys can see it buckles out, and just pop it back in. Then all you have to do is just shorten this strap and buckle this. Okay, see, it's super short now. The advantage of having that option is now you can see there's no long strap like this side just running and blocking all your other straps. So all you have to do now, if you run it like this, just roll this up, just roll it up into a little ball, and then just put some type of strap keeper or some type of Velcro, and then it'll just be very compact like this. So that's a neat little feature that they give you there. 2 different configurations. It's really up to you. And then the last thing with the Stone Glacier is their hip belt attachment. So this is one of their large accessory pockets. So all you have to do is just slide one of these straps through the top one. Slide, it pops out on the other side. You're gonna run the bottom one through the second one down here, or the one right below it. You're gonna pull it all the way through, and then you're just making sure that your accessory is sitting wherever you want it to sit. It's supposed to go underneath like this, and then you're gonna run it just like that. Same thing on the bottom side. Run it underneath first, pull it tight, and you're gonna run it on over the top. And then with these straps, all I do is I just kind of tuck it in. That way they just kind of stay out of the way. And then it's pretty much it. Now, it's a very fast design, but my problem with it is it doesn't hold it in place as well as the Velcro on the Exo or the PALS webbing on the Kifaru. So it's quick and easy, but I just not a fan of how it shifts around. So we have the bag in sky mode, but let's just pretend that you're on a backcountry hunt. You got all your camp with you. You kill an animal. Now you got to put meat in between the bag that you have here and your frame. So what we're going to do first is we're just going to come down to the bottom down here. We're just going to undo these 2 bottom straps. We're going to come to this strap right here that cinches your side pocket. Just undo that on both sides. And then we're going to come to the side straps. Do that side, also do this side, and then we're gonna flip the bag over. And then on the Stone Glacier, you do have to undo your load lifters the traditional way. So it's pretty fast. It's just a simple, you know, detach through the webbing loop like that. This is one of the things where you have to do similar to the Kifaru, where you kind of have to dig in between the frame and the bag. So here's your outer pocket on the side. If you go in between the frame, this right here is the frame and this is the bag. What you're gonna do is you're gonna completely take that strap off, and you're gonna do this to the other side as well. So we're gonna turn the bag around. So turn the bag around. It's basically the same exact spot. So we're just gonna simply pop that strap loose. And once you do that, then voila. Now with the Stone Glacier, it's gonna come kind of like this. So you're gonna have 2 long straps, and it's gonna be connected to the top of your frame. We're just gonna fold those out, and it's gonna come in with these 2 straps. And all we're gonna do right here, so we're just gonna pull the strap out like this. We're gonna do the same to this thing up here. All right, so once you pull it out, then you can loosen it like this. And Stone Glacier actually has their load shelf built onto their frame itself, which I haven't packed out anything with this, but I played with it at home, and this is slick. I love their load shelf. So once you do that, then you're pretty much ready to go. Again, we're just gonna take our pretend meat here, and we're just gonna slide our meat bag into that little panel right there. And we're just gonna cinch these 2 straps right here. So that's one way you can do it. But with Stone Glacier, you guys remember these 2 straps that I said was attached to the top of the frame. One thing you can do too is, instead of running it down to this bottom strap down here, you can just undo the strap right here, and you will just tuck this strap away. But you take this top strap and you can just web it through just like so, just like that. And you can cinch it up too. And so if you run this strap, you know, maybe you have a little bit more security on the top load of the portion of your meat. If you run it like this, you just kind of secure the bottom of the meat. It doesn't really matter as far as I can tell, but I can definitely see how sometimes it's better to run this top strap up here. Sometimes it's better to just run this lower strap. But the point is, it's just more versatility. Now it's just a matter of putting our bag back on top. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go to our side straps. So you got 2 right here. We're gonna turn it around. We're gonna do it to this side as well. There's 1 buckle on this side. Here's your other buckle on that side. And from there, it's really just a matter of cinching everything down tight. Make sure you get your bottom ones. And this side strap right here, make sure you get these 2. And just cinch this. Once you have that, then you have your meat pretty much sandwiched properly. So earlier, your load lifter straps were actually attached to this load lifter, and this one is attached to the bag. Well, when you have your bag separated from the frame like this with the meat in between, you can't have your load lifter attached like this. So instead, Stone Glacier has another one sewn into the frame itself. So you're gonna come down, or you're gonna come up to the one that is sewn onto the frame, and you're gonna utilize this as your new load lifter spot. So we're gonna do the same thing to this side right here, and boom. So that's pretty much it. Once you have your meat sandwiched in between that little meat shelf that comes with the frame itself, you reattach your load lifters, you cinch your bag to the frame with 2 buckles on this side and kind of this one down here. And then you obviously do 2 on this side as well. And then you're gonna cinch your 2 bottom straps. So once again, you get back to the truck, you gotta drop off the meat, you gotta get your bag back to hunt ready condition. So I'm gonna show you guys how to do that too. Once again, it's basically a reverse procedure. So what we're gonna do, undo the 2 side buckles right there, 2 on this side. We're gonna loosen this strap right here, loosen this one over here too, loosen these 2, and then from there your bag just folds away just like so. You're gonna come here, uncinch this, pull your meat bag out. Just gonna tuck these 2 top straps into this crib load panel. You're gonna cinch this tight, not tight, but just snug. Once you cinch this snug, you can see you have a long strap that's outward facing. So all you're gonna do is you're just gonna run it through one of these spots right here. And so when you run it that way, now it folds back into the frame. And so you kind of don't have a strap that's flopping on the outside. So we're gonna do the same thing to this side, in to here. So the next step is to undo your load lifters. So we're gonna undo the load lifters here. And here's the reason why. So this one that is attached on the frame is only utilized when you are packing out meat with the load shelf. This is the one that your strap is connected to when you're just hunting with the regular backpack on. So what we're gonna do is, if you look right here on this bag, there's a little pocket right here and also right here. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna slide this frame stay right into that little pocket. We're gonna do the same exact thing on this side. Slide this right into there. And the reason why you don't want to have your load lifter strap attached to this one on the frame, because since this frame is inside of this pocket, if you attach it to this one, if you look closely, you can see there's pressure on this fabric and it's not going to work properly. So you want to make sure you connect it to the right one. And now all we have to do is attach our load lifters, not to the one on the frame, but the one on the bag. So we're just going to do that. And we're going to come up to this one. Again, we're not putting it on this one. We're putting it on the one on the bag. You have it there. Now the next step is having to connect the one underneath the frame and the bag, which is kind of a pain. So let me pull you guys close. We're gonna come down here and you guys can see there's this strap, right? This short strap. So this one, all you have to do is just simply thread it through and then thread it back out the other one. And then from there, you just gotta cinch it tight. And once you cinch that, like, it really shoves the frame into this sleeve pocket up here. So if you don't have this, your bag and your frame is going to be super sloppy. So this is a pretty crucial thing. So we're going to flip the bag around, do the same exact thing. So again, we're going to come and find the super short vertical strap, and we're going to find this piece right here, thread it through and thread it out. And once you have it like that, then it's a matter of just cinching this tight like that. Then once you have that, then you have a rock solid frame attached to your bag. So those are the most two crucial ones, right? So you want to stick those frames into this pocket, attach the strap to the proper load lifter, and then come down here to where I just showed you guys and attach the two bottom to the strap. And then from there, you're basically 99% of the way there. From here, it's just a matter of reattaching the side buckles. So you got two on that side, and then this strap right here, you can cinch this too. And we're gonna flip it around. Flip it around. One side buckle, two side buckles, and then the bottom strap. Boom. So what I just did, that portion that you guys just watched, was just me kind of going over the features and stuff like that. Now what I'm gonna do is, since I pulled the bags off of the frame, I'm just gonna go through and kind of give my personal opinion of what I like and what I dislike, and, you know, little minor tweaks and changes to each bag that I feel like would overall improve the performance of each individual bag. So with the Stone Glacier, I like that all their zippers, they utilize the waterproof zippers. Now, it's not really waterproof because, I mean, it's a zipper. Obviously, water is going to get in eventually if it's really downpouring. But since it's a waterproof zipper over a standard zipper, an advantage I would give over to the Stone Glacier. I love the waterproof zippers. Now, I believe last time I checked up with Mark said that the reason why they stopped using these waterproof zippers on their new K3 stuff is because over time, they kind of become sticky. And so it's kind of hard to like use them, but I've never really found that to be an issue. So in my opinion, on the Exo and the Kifaru, I would definitely love to see the waterproof zipper like the Stone Glacier here. Now, this material that Stone Glacier uses for their zipper pulls, I absolutely hate these. With the Exo and the Kifaru, they use a much beefier type of material, and so when you pull it, there's not a lot of slippage. With the Stone Glacier, sometimes when I pull it, like, I don't know, there's just a lot of slop to it. It's not a big deal because I can always cut these off and go put some type of paracord that I like on it anyway. So is that really a big deal? No, it's just that these stock ones that Stone Glacier use, they're just not my favorite. I'm a big fan of the ones that Exo uses and the ones that the Kifaru uses. I don't have a problem with either one of them. That's just something I've kind of learned about the Stone Glacier. I'm not a big fan of these zipper pulls. The other thing on the Stone Glacier that I really like, X-Pack material, this waterproof panel. So this is on the back side of the bag. So on the frame, if you have the meat sandwiched in between the frame and the bag, there's no way blood is getting inside of your bag because of this X-Pack material. I love that. The other thing is, it's not only on the back side of this bag, it's also on the bottom of the bag, which is neat because let's say you're hunting on a downpour day or you're just hunting in snow. Because the Stone Glacier has waterproof X-Pack material on the bottom of the bag, if this is snow or a puddle or it's just wet, if I go to place my pack down like this, since the bottom is waterproof, water's not gonna get the bottom of my stuff wet, right? Because it's X-Pack, it's waterproof. So I absolutely love that design by Stone Glacier, that it's not only a waterproof back panel, but it's also a waterproof bottom, so that when I go to set it down on wet ground or snow, I know that this X-Pack material will keep all my stuff on the bottom dry. I love that about Stone Glacier. Probably the biggest thing that I like about the Stone Glacier, at least the Sky 5900 over the Kifaru and the Exo. The other thing I like about the Stone Glacier, as I was kind of raving about earlier, is the Bivy mode design. I don't have the frame on, so I can't show you guys, but that Bivy mode design, in my opinion, it is a super slick design. I've said that already, but that's besides the point. And then the other thing, I really do like the beaver tail access. You know, you can open it even more and just get full access to this stuff. And I have my Cordura camp pocket in there. I love Stone Glacier's accessories, like that Cordura camp pocket that I was going over earlier, how it attaches and how you can have a chain of them. I think that's just awesome. I really do like that stuff. So there's a lot to like about all three of these bags. I mean, when you're paying $700-800 for these backpacks, you better, like, there better be a lot of things you like and very few things you dislike, right? If you're paying $800 for a backpack and your list of dislikes far outweighs your list of likes, you either didn't do your research or you just got ripped off. But the things I just went over, those are the things that caught my attention, that whether I liked it or I kind of dislike it. But that's a brief overview of the Sky 5900. On the Exo, kind of similar to the Stone Glacier, I love the horseshoe zipper. I love this front zipper pouch. A very minor change that I would like to see on the Exo is just having a dual zipper instead of a one zipper access on this front stretchy pouch. Is that a big deal? No, it's just a little tweak that I feel like would improve the overall functionality of the bag. The other thing I like about this is kind of similar to the Stone Glacier, is this waterproof back panel. But if that's not enough, you have this still nylon material backing it up. So this is like basically waterproof as well. So you have like two essentially 99.999% water resistant fabrics that are protecting your gear from like blood when you have meat sandwiched in between your bag and your frame. So that's something I love about the Exo. The other thing, I love these stretchy pockets right here. I really do. I use them a lot for sure. I really do love this zipper pouch right here. I kind of do wish that there was a second one right here. I know the Born and Raised edition has a second one, but on this particular design, I would love to just have another one of these right here. That's just kind of a personal want. It's not really a need. The other thing, the roll top, I do like it because when you don't need it, you can cinch it down and you can clip it like this. I don't do that. I usually just clip it like that. And then again, obviously, I love the dedicated water bladder sleeve pocket, because just imagine if this bag was full to the brim like this with all my gear and we run across a creek, I can just easily slip into here, pull out my water bladder, put it back in there, zip it, we're good to go. So again, this is the 44 mag. Once again, not my favorite bag design compared to the Exo and the Sky 5900. These handles I'm a big fan of. The other thing, like I said on Stone Glacier, I wasn't a fan of these zipper pulls, but on the Kifaru I do like these zipper pulls. Now the Kifaru and the Exo, in my opinion, they're kind of like two extreme opposite. The Exo, it's really minimalist. It's everything you need, nothing you don't need. The Kifaru, it's kind of like everything you need plus a lot more. Like on the Kifaru, they got a Velcro patch up here where you can put, you know, motivational patches onto there. Is it needed? Absolutely not. But I think that's kind of where the Kifaru 44 mag shines. If you're the type of person where you like a lot of customization, you like a lot of organization, where it's kind of over the top, as most people would say, this is the bag for you. That's just kind of the things that catch my eye with the Kifaru. The other thing I do like, auto lock buckles. So you simply just push this button, you can cinch, but once you let go, then the straps don't come undone. So I like that they use auto lock buckles. One thing I do notice about the Kifaru buckles too is, like, I don't know, maybe it's still new, but they can be a little sticky sometimes. So I think maybe you just kind of gotta use them enough to the point where they kind of rub and they kind of become smooth. The other thing too is the Stone Glacier and the Exo, they have some kind of side pocket, exterior side pocket. The Kifaru does not. I wish the Kifaru 44 mag had some type of exterior pocket like the Exo or the Stone Glacier. I think that would overall improve the performance of the Kifaru 44 mag. Now, it doesn't have to be anything drastic. It just has to have some kind of shelf down here so that you could put the legs of your tripod or a trekking pole in there and not have to worry about your trekking pole falling out or something. So on the Exo and the Stone Glacier, their back panels are essentially waterproof. On the Kifaru, it's not waterproof. It's just straight up Cordura. And so, yes, Cordura is highly water resistant, but from the past, with my experience with Cordura, blood is gonna soak through. It just is. If I have my frame right here, I'm sandwiching meat in between my Kifaru pack and my frame. Eventually, blood is gonna leak through and get my stuff basically bloody. So I would definitely like to see some type of fabric change on the Kifaru. It doesn't have to be drastic, maybe just like the material that Exo uses, or maybe even X-Pack, you know, just not Cordura, because Cordura, again, yes, it's water resistant, but it's just not gonna protect my gear from blood. But that's just speculation. I'll have to really pack out an animal this year before I can really judge it on that. But that's something that's caught my eye. The other thing I noticed with the Stone Glacier and the Kifaru are these straps right here. It's not a big deal, but I'll show you something. On these Kifaru straps and these Stone Glacier right here, at the end of their straps, they just kind of sew a little bit together. So there's no loop, right? And what happens is you have these Velcro strap keepers. So let me demonstrate here. You have your Velcro strap keeper like this, right? So you roll it up into a ball, and then you wrap the Velcro around, and that's what keeps your strap from flopping around. The problem with how Kifaru and Stone Glacier, not all the straps are like this, but a few of them are, is since they just kind of sew it together like this, if I just roll this out, this Velcro just naturally falls out, right? So I've already lost a few of these Velcros that come with the Kifaru bags because there's nothing holding this Velcro. It's just kind of sitting right here. So what I would love to see them do, at least for the straps that are long and require some type of strap keeper, is on the Exo, you can see here, on all the straps, they sew some type of loop. So when you put the Velcro strip in here, since this is a loop and Exo sews it like this, you can see the Velcro is not going anywhere. So if I roll it up like this, right? I roll it up, I undo the Velcro, and I just kind of do this. You can see the Velcro it's not going anywhere, because simply for the fact that they sewed a loop, and this loop right here kind of just sandwiches the Velcro in between. Now on the Kifaru, since they don't have that loop, it kind of just sits here, right? So for example, if I'm rolling this out, so let's say I'm unbuckling and I need some strap length, so I undo it and I'm just kind of doing this. You can see that Velcro just went flying. That's one of the issues with how Kifaru sews the tag end of their straps, as well as some of the straps on the Stone Glacier, like this one right here. If I have a Velcro strip right here, you can see Stone Glacier sews it the exact same way, unlike Exo with the little loop. If I just fold this over, I extend my strap length, the Velcro just goes flying. Minor things, but I think if Kifaru and Stone Glacier just kind of followed Exo's footsteps and just put loops at the end, you don't have to worry about these Velcros just flying over and losing them, because I've already lost like 3 of them and I don't know where they went, you know, because you don't think about that stuff, right? You're just so focused on extending the strap that when you do this, the Velcro just goes flying. Then you come back here and you're like, oh, my Velcro's gone. And so what you're left with is you're left with a whole long piece of tag end strap just flopping around on your backpack now. So small changes, but I think it will overall improve the functionality of the Stone Glacier and the Kifaru. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is the other half of the system, which is the frame. So this right here is the Exo K3 frame. This is the Stone Glacier X curve frame. And then this right here is the Kifaru duplex light frame. So the Kifaru won't stand up, so we'll start with this one first. All these frames, they have some kind of flex to them. So when you're moving, you know, you're going over logs, like they all bend somewhat with your body. So that's something that I appreciate about all 3 frames. The biggest thing about the Kifaru that I noticed over the Exo and the Stone Glacier, not over, but just compared to them, is that when you are utilizing the load shelf, you can't secure the meat to the frame first before sandwiching the bag on top. What I mean by that is, if you guys look on the Exo, you guys see these 2 straps right here, right? If you lay the frame flat, you put meat on there, you can use these straps to secure the meat onto the frame. And so once you secure it, the meat doesn't move off the frame and you can just take your time putting your bag on top. But with the Kifaru, you can't cinch the meat onto the frame first, right? So in order to secure the load, your meat load to the frame, you have to utilize the bag to sandwich it on top. So what that means is when you're cinching your bag tight, you kind of have to be aware that your load or your meat isn't shifting while you're cinching your bag tight. Now, that is probably the biggest thing I dislike about the Kifaru, is that you can't just secure the meat onto the frame itself first. With the Exo and the Stone Glacier, you can secure the meat onto the frame first and then just take your time putting your bag on top of that. Now, I've already put 50 pounds in all 3 bags. I didn't notice a difference in comfort with the Kifaru not having the ability to secure the load without the bag. Is it a deal breaker by any means? Absolutely not, but my Exo frame's not standing, so we're just gonna fold it down. I'm not gonna talk about comfort and performance yet because that's actually a later topic in this video, so I'll leave that into that topic. But these are just more of features and design that I'm talking about here. Comfort and that stuff we'll get to later in the video. But other than that, when it comes to just features, that's something I would like to see on the Kifaru, is just some kind of ability to just strictly slap on the meat and secure the meat onto the frame without having to put the bag on top. On the Exo, again, with this thing, I like the ability to secure meat without having to rely on a bag, utilizing these 2 straps right here. With the Exos, I have noticed, even on the K2, these straps right here on the low lifters, they're a little bit short. Sometimes I find myself like maximizing the load straps, and I'm like trying to like pinch my way to pull it tight. So I would definitely like to see a little bit more length on the Exo. Other than that, I really do like the K3 frame. Again, I'm not going to talk about comfort, like lumbar pad comfort and hip belt comfort yet, because that's a different topic in this video. Again, this is just kind of the features. I love the feature that you can adjust the frame height depending on if you're just going on day hunt or you're on a heavy load duty. I really like it. And the other thing with the Exo frame, since it's Velcro, you can pull it off and you can angle these straps depending on your body type and stuff like that. So that's one thing I do like about the Exo, is they just give you that ability to do that. The X Curve frame from Stone Glacier, I really like this frame. I really do. I love the load shelf. I think it's awesome that it's built into it. With the Exo, I think you have to buy separate. It's like 45 bucks. There's not much to say about this frame. I really do like this frame. Again, I'm not talking about lumbar pad or hip belt performance because that's a different topic. So that is going to do it for this portion of the video. Just went through, you know, pack features and how to get to the load shelf and how to put your bag back together after the load shelf, and then just kind of a very brief comparison of the things that stick out to me as to what I can already see might make the bag better in the future, or, you know, just things I like up front. So without further ado, let's jump over to the next topic. So this is the last portion of this video, and right now we are going to do a mock test utilizing heavy loads on all 3 backpacks. So we're going to start out with the Kifaru 44 mag and duplex light frame. So this right here is a 50-pound sandbag. This is another 50-pound sandbag. So I have about 100 pounds on the frame that I'm going to be testing out today. Yes, I know that 100 pounds is not the heaviest load. A lot of you guys watching this can even put a third one on and go to 150 pounds. But realistically, for me, 100 pounds, give or take maybe 5 or 10 pounds, is about what I'm willing to haul out when I'm actually hunting. So this will give me a pretty realistic idea of what each bag is capable of. So the Kifaru feels pretty solid. Love the lumbar pad. The lumbar pad actually feels like it's supporting my body and I'm not like hunched over like this. I can stand pretty vertical with the Kifaru duplex light frame. I do notice that the lumbar pad, it kind of shifts up and down when I like do this. So I might need to take off my pack and redo my lumbar pad, but I realized that first, and I like put my lumbar pad, because it's all Velcro strip, and I put the Velcro as tight as possible, and when I go to adjust my pack like this, the lumbar pad, it has a slight shift up and down. But besides me like readjusting my pack like that, if I'm just hiking like this, the lumbar pad, it sits in one spot and it does what it needs to do. Lumbar pad, again, it's giving me the support I need. The hip belts hug my hips very nice. Those shoulder straps, they do what they need to do. Load lifters are doing what they need to do. So yeah, Kifaru feels solid. All right, this time I've got the Stone Glacier X curve frame in the Sky 5900 bag. Again, just about a 100-pound loadout on this frame that I'm testing. And so far, I am really impressed with the Stone Glacier. Again, with the Kifaru, there was that minor shift in the lumbar pad. That is not an issue with the Stone Glacier. Everything just seems rock solid on the Stone Glacier. There's nothing that's shifting around, making it uncomfortable. The hip belt is comfortable. The lumbar pad, it's not as beefy as the Kifaru, but the Stone Glacier lumbar pad still gives me enough lumbar support where I'm not hunched over like this. So I can stand vertical like this, no problem. The Stone Glacier hip belt feels solid. It's not quite as comfortable as the Kifaru, but it's doing what it needs to do. And the weight of my pack is being efficiently transferred down to my legs. And load lifters, they're doing what they need to do. And yeah, the Stone Glacier, it just feels solid, man. Like, I really like this frame. There is no pinching, there's no hot spots, there's nothing where it makes me like, oh, like this frame sucks. Like, this frame by Stone Glacier is solid. I have really no big complaints about it at all, if any complaints that I could think of right now. And this, again, it's only 100 pounds, but look at this. Like, that's how efficient this frame is transferring my load to my hips into my legs. So last but not least, we've got the Exo Mountain Gear K3 frame with the 4800 bag. Earlier in the video, I showed you guys on the Exo that you have the option to run your frame short or tall. Right now, I have it in the tall position. That's why you guys can see my load lifter is a little bit more angled versus flat. So that definitely helps a lot. I can really feel, like, look, like all the weight is just, not all, but majority of the weight is just on my hips, which is good. Overall, the Exo K3 frame feels solid as well. I really do love their shoulder straps. I prefer their shoulder straps over both the Kifaru and the Stone Glacier. But the hip belt, I still think the Kifaru hip belt is king. The Kifaru hip belt, I feel like it just hugs your hips a little bit better. The Stone Glacier hip belt and the Exo hip belt, I feel like instead of hugging your waist, they kind of just sit on top of your hip bone. Nothing wrong with that. Both the Stone Glacier and the Exo are still comfortable, even with that hip belt design. But the Kifaru still takes the cake when it comes to hip belt comfort. The minor issue I have with the Exo is the lumbar pad is just a little too soft. So again, I'm not running the stock lumbar pad. I ordered a second lumbar pad insert, and so I'm running 2 lumbar pad inserts. Yes, it's making a difference. I can notice the difference, but I do notice that the lumbar pad on the Exo, it does not give me as much support as the Kifaru or the Stone Glacier. Now on the bright side, there's no shifting of anything on the Exo frame. The lumbar pad is sitting where it needs to sit. The hip belt is cupping where it needs to cup. The shoulder straps are solid. Load lifters are solid. So overall, I really do like the Exo frame. My suggestion to you is, if you're buying the Exo Mountain Gear pack, buy the extra lumbar pad insert, because I feel like it would greatly increase the performance of the pack. I can tell if I didn't have the extra lumbar pad insert in there, this pack would not be as comfortable as it is right now. So just a minor tweak on the Exo, if they made the lumbar pad just slightly tougher instead of having that soft material, this would be my go-to frame. Throughout this video, the pack that impressed me the most was the Stone Glacier X curve frame with the Sky 5900 bag. I like the designs, I like the accessories, I like the frame, I like how it fits and feels on my back when I'm wearing it. The Exo and the Kifaru, they're both solid packs. I would not hesitate to take either one of them on a hunt, in which I will in part 2. This is just simply a first impressions with all 3 bags and frames. The real test is when I'm gonna go hunting with all 3 of these packs and see how they really perform out in the mountains. It's just that the Stone Glacier impressed me the most, again, on this first impressions portion. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you watched it all the way through, I know it's a long video, but hopefully after watching this video, it gives you a much better idea of which pack you might choose for you for this upcoming season. Good luck this fall, and I'll see you guys next time.